Another beautiful Sunday. Another day in paradise. Today, I'd like to approach a subject that I haven't talked about a whole lot, and that is your original face, who you are behind everything. Behind what's going on here, who are or what is causing this to take place. One place to begin is with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is totally ignored, or pretty much ignored, by the conscious mind. The conscious mind, which is your ego and how you're dealing with realities and engaging people and things like that, seems to think that it is the one that's really the most powerful. The conscious mind is far more powerful than the unconscious. Well, that's what the ego says. But the unconscious is far more powerful, far more advanced than we ever gave it credit for. Things happen at the unconscious level inside of us every second of the day. Every second. You don't have to sit at your house and concentrate on your heart and say, beat, 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 or tell yourself to breathe. Your body does that. You don't tell your body as you're eating your food, okay, I want some of the minerals in this food to go fix this hangnail I got on my fingernail here, and I want the other part of that to go to this little piece in my lung that needs to be replaced. A little cell there is kind of gotten old and needs to be replaced. So I'll replace it. Little piece of food here, a little piece of there. Some goes to the eyeball, some goes to the toenail. And what's not used is flushed away. And you don't have to think about a bit of it. It just happens. Your mind is busy worrying about who you're going to be dating tonight, or what you're going to be eating later on, or something about the job, or walking your pets, or working on your car. Your conscious mind is full of all kinds of stuff, but the unconscious mind, this part back here, is taking care of everything. It's keeping you balanced when you walk. We literally walk forward by falling forward. And as we fall forward, we catch it with our next step. That's how we walk. We walk by falling forward. It's all done underneath, the ear keeps us oriented, and the muscles and everything, they just happen. Our conscious mind can't do that. It's not capable of handling that degree of precision constantly. Even things like language. I think I'm talking right now, and it's just a stream of consciousness, because I'm really, this may surprise you, I'm really don't have any thoughts while I'm doing this. I'm not channeling, I'm just being. But I have no thoughts. However, my voice goes up and down, and there are pauses, and there are all kinds of things that I can make my voice do as I'm talking to you, as I'm communicating to you. And as the will and the intent to convey a thought comes to the surface, my subconscious mind takes that thought and that thing and runs it through language. It takes that thought that doesn't have language, runs it through language, and then it says, okay, this word has 2 syllables, 1 syllable, 3 syllables, and each syllable has to have a certain amount of air to make it go at the right loudness and it has to be constricted just the right way in the vocal cords to get to go up and down, you know. And then it has to come out through the mouth where that up and down air and that humming is going, and it comes in and it's articulated in our mouth, in our mouth, and our teeth, and our gums, and our tongue, and our lips, and it all comes out, and maybe a little bit through the nasal cavity, and it all comes out as a word. And I've been saying a lot of words in the last minute. This is a very active thing. And the interesting thing is, we can communicate as long as you speak the same language as I do. So an enlightened teacher has a very difficult time communicating or being with people who don't speak his language or her language. We're kind of limited, aren't we? Our conscious mind is very limited. At the same time, my subconscious mind is taking care of all the needs of this body. It's also taking care of the conscious thoughts that are being put together. The placement of words, the placement of syllables, all of that stuff goes very involved, languages. And on the other end of it, when you talk to me, out of your mouth comes these sounds. A sound is one molecule of air popping against another, right? And it pops across the air till it gets to the eardrum, and it taps on my eardrum. And my eardrum takes that sound, or that power, that energy, and it's, oh, this is the word Fred. So it goes in there and it pulls out all the stuff on Fred, you know. This happens very quickly. I'm taking sound, I'm converting it into language, I'm converting it into feelings, I'm converting it into all kinds of things, all in the background. Your subconscious mind is immense. It's what ran your life when you were first born. When you were first born, your conscious mind had no control over anything. Your subconscious mind did it all. It caused you to cry when you were hungry. It caused you to put out a different cry when you needed to be burped after a meal. It put out a different cry when you were uncomfortable because you needed your diapers changed. It had all of this stuff worked out. And you just sat inside your brain there and tried to make sense of it, because you could not make sense of it at the beginning. It was just energetic forms. So your subconscious mind is immense. And it really does kind of structure your realities. Now then, now that we've explored the subconscious mind and seen what a magical and amazing thing it is, and what an incredibly complex thing the body is, well, you say, well, what does that have to do with enlightenment? And so I'm going to talk about that now. Let's talk about what this means when it comes to enlightenment. And I apologize for Puggy snoring on the side. He snuck in again. Goes over there and sleeps. Anyway, I just use it as a mantra. So anyway, what I'm about to say here is something I want you to really see if you can. This is an easy concept, but I want you to kind of just let it sit with you a little bit. When you're meditating, you're focusing on some one thing. They have found that when you meditate, if you focus on one thing, then your mind starts to calm down and you become very aware. Because as you focus on one thing, you're kind of pushing out all the stuff all around. You're just looking at the candle flame or the center of a mandala, or you're focusing on a mantra. You're focusing on one thing. You're out in the mountains, you pick out, a tree on the side of the hill, and you just focus on that one tree. And And as you focus on one thing, mantra or whatever, your mind starts to slow down and your awareness starts to grow. You're not going into sleep. That's why you do it sitting up. You're not becoming comatose or unconscious. You're actually becoming super conscious. As you drop language, as you drop all of these barriers to our awareness, you become very aware. In meditation, we only use two modes, our intention and our will. Those two things are all that we use in meditation because they do not require thought. They don't require language. Your intention and your will springs forth from the very core of your being. So, when you sit down to do your zazen, which is meditation practice, for those of you that are new, we talk about zazen. It's a Japanese word for meditation. It's just the art of setting aside a time in your life, 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes, hour and a half, however long it works for you, to sit still, to focus on one thing, whether it's a piece of music or a picture of an enlightened teacher. Whatever you focus on, you tend to become. And how you focus on it. Are you focusing on enlightenment because you want to feel enlightened? You want to feel what enlightenment is about. I can assure you it's much better than what you thought it was. Yeah. Could take that one to the bank. So anyway, coming down. So when you're meditating, okay, well, let's go back to meditating. I'm kind of getting out there a little bit. So we're coming back, we're meditating. We're sitting on our chair. Okay, I'm going to meditate now. Okay. I have my nose. Okay, sitting here. Okay, sit. Okay, focus on your chest. Okay, focus on my chest. Focus on my heart. Okay. There's the Barca Lounger. Okay, I'm going to sit in my little heart here and I'm going to meditate. Okay, so, okay, meditate. Okay, well, let's start here by just taking a breath. Start my mantra. That's the way to do it. That's the way you meditate. So start my mantra now. Okay. Shring, 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 shring. And then everything stops in a stillness until I remember I'm not saying my mantra. I didn't say my mantra. Okay. Shring, 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 shring. Oh, I'm not saying my mantra. So what's going on here is that you're letting your mantra get in the way of your meditation. We take one thorn to remove another thorn, and then we throw them both away. The thorn that we're trying to remove is our conscious mind, how it runs around like a little dog in a park, sniffing here, running, exploring over here, peeing on this, sniffing over here, chasing that. That's what our mind does. And so we're stopping our mind from running around the park. And then we get to the point where there is no thought. Our mantra is not there anymore. There are no thoughts. We're just kind of sitting there for maybe only 2 or 3 seconds. It may not be very long for you at all, but there's a time when you're sitting there and it's like, you're just shring, shring, shring. And then something pops up. It says, oh, You need to say your mantra. You need to do this. You. So here I am focusing on the mandala. I'm here, I'm saying my mantra, and every once in a while it stops. And then when it stops, my mind starts to drift a little bit or move away. Some part back here says, say your mantra again. Say your mantra again. Oh, shring, 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 stops again. And then my mind starts to drift, or my conscious. And then there's this thing back here that says, say your mantra again. Oh, shring, shring, shring. For 20 years, I listened to that voice behind me silently saying, do your mantra. You're wavering. Focus on your heart. Quit focusing on other people or other things. Be right here, be right now. That little voice back there. Say your mantra. And so what I'm inviting you to do is in your meditation, to do your meditation, to do your mantra or whatever, until you get to that place where you, just for maybe a couple of seconds, it doesn't take much, but just for a couple of seconds, there's no thought. Like this. And then when the pressure builds inside of you, which it will, because it's the Kundalini, when the energy of life starts to build up inside of you like a pressure cooker, you will start to have a thought or an emotion. And then that part back here says, say your mantra. Go back to your mantra. Push through the emotions, push through all of this. Use that mantra, focus on it. Don't focus on the terrible, terrible things you did when you were 12 or 13. Don't focus on the horrible things that happened to you when you were 21. Don't focus on how your housemate screamed at you this morning. Don't focus on any of that. Just focus on your mantra. So you start turning your focus of your meditation from the mantra, from doing your zazen, from doing them, I'm going to meditate, from doing that, I'm going to meditate attitude to, I want to turn my focus to what it is behind me that's telling me to meditate, that's telling me when to start the mantra, when to let go. What is that? What is that energy behind me that's animating my spiritual progress at this moment? So every morning when we do the Tao, I'm getting a lot out of the Tao teachings. I love it. I set up, as most of you do by now, you set up, I set my alarm for 4. You can set it for whenever you want. But I set for 4 because it's kind of the middle of the night for us retired folks. Anyway, it's quiet then. I get up, wash my face, wake up a little bit, and sit down. And I read the verse on the Tao, and I'm outlining passages. It's beautiful. Sometimes I get something out of it. Sometimes I kind of scratch my head. Well, I'm not too sure what's going on here, but I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. But I read the book. I try to get it. That takes me, for those 3 pages, maybe 10 minutes, outlining, highlighting and doing all that other stuff. And then I put it down. Pull up my little iPhone and click on my meditation timer. Hit the button for 15 minutes. Now, I haven't got to say 15 minutes isn't very long. A lot of you may be used to meditating an hour and a half. But for this purpose, just 15 minutes. I want you to be intent. I don't want you to sit there for an hour and a half going, shrink, 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 shrink. No, I want it intense. I want you for 15 minutes to sit there, sit in your Barca Lounger chair right inside your heart. Imagine that if you can. And you're sitting there and you're doing your meditation, whatever form it is. I think, though, I can't say whatever form. I want it done silently. I don't want it done to music. I don't even want you to use a mantra. I don't want you watching your breath. I want you to simply sit there in the silence. It's a non-doing. So you're sitting there in the silence at 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody else is asleep. So there's not a whole lot of thoughts going on around you. And then there's something that says your mind is wandering. You're starting to astral travel. You're going to that little village in Italy again. Okay, let's pull it back. Okay, back here in the heart. And then I'm turning my focus deeper into what is that voice that's telling me to stay on my meditation? What's that voice that is keeping me on track? What's that? I call it a voice, but it's not a voice. What is that impulse that drives my will and my intention into spiritual practice? What is that part of me that keeps me on task? And for me, this is just for me, it may be different for you, but for me, when I really look at that, I'm looking at a chakra from the base of my skull down to where it connects to the shoulder blades, down in that area, this area here. That seems to be where everything comes from. We pull up our will and intention, it comes back here, and then it comes out through our mouth as language. We hear, it comes in our ears, it comes through here. It's all back here. Interesting, at least for me. And as I focus on that, I'm starting to touch my original face. And the original face, you can only see it when your ego is gone and you're in silence. And you're focused on it. When you do that, your thought will stop. Like this. So that's meditation. It's advanced meditation. That's looking at your original face, who you are, that part of your being that has created this soul experience, that part of your being that has animated this physical body, that part of your being that takes care of all of the health issues and all of the strength and everything that your body, this amazing machine and this incredible calculating computer that we have. And your connection to everyone and everything. When you see your original face, you recognize that everything and everyone is you. It's your reality. It's not anybody else's. Everybody has their own reality, but we all spring forth from one power, from one life, from one energy, from the immensity of the incomprehensible and we drag it down into the comprehensible. But we are really incomprehensible. We are too vast. You are mostly nothing. You're incredibly large. If you were to shrink your consciousness down so that you are on a little hydrogen atom in your stomach, you're just swirling around that hydrogen atom. The distance from that hydrogen atom to your nose, relatively speaking, because that's how small it is about as big as what you can comprehend in outer space. What I'm suggesting is you're infinitely large and infinitely small at the same time. There is no end to you, but you do have a center. Even though the universe does not have any edges, it does have a center. And that center is your original face. That part that has gone from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. The part that loves its creation in this body and this life and this being. It loves this being. It loves it totally and completely. And it's exploring the vastness of the creation of the isness forever. That's what we do. So, in the morning, when you do your meditation, you get up and do this silly little practice that we do up until the winter solstice. Every morning we get up and we read the same verse. Set it down. Set your timer for 15 minutes. So you're giving yourself 30 minutes every morning. The meditation practice that you do is to always look back at what's causing you to say, it's time to say the mantra now. You need to come back to your heart. You're not in your heart anymore. Why are you thinking thoughts about other people? Sit right here, right now, in the silence, right here. Don't go anywhere. Don't let your mind go out there. Don't become distracted with some mantra or watching your breath or listening to your heartbeat inside your ear. Just complete silence. These things happen, but you start paying attention to that still, small, but very powerful voice behind you here, saying, come back to your mantra. Stop your thought. So you just do that for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes. And then go back and climb in bed, go to sleep. That 30 minutes that you took out of your nighttime sleep is worth about an hour or 2 hours worth of rest. You're not robbing yourself of any sleep by meditating, not if you do it right. Because in deep meditation, when you're in this part here, listening to your higher self, trying to attach to that, what is that feeling? What is that that's driving my meditation? What's causing, when you're focusing on that, your body is totally aligned with the universe. You at that moment experience perfection. You have perfect respiration, perfect circulation, perfect assimilation, perfect elimination, and an awakened mind. Free of ego, free of the need to impress anyone. Just be. There is the is, that's what there, and then there's the be, that's who you are. You're the being inside the isness. And from the heart, the mouth speaks. There we go. So good luck as we march through these interesting times. I don't know about you, but my world is pretty amazing. My gosh, the trees. I take my little dog for a walk. You have no idea. The different dimensions, the beauty, the awareness of life itself just popping up out of the earth as grass and trees and shrubbery and bushes and all of this. And then birds flying through and little squirrels running around. The smell, the earth and the smell of the plants, the smell of rain. It's so wonderful, this life. It only gets bad when you start focusing on all the disharmony and all of the anger, and you allow yourself to get caught up in it. Be in this world, but don't be of it. Rid yourself of any darkness that you have. And I refer to darkness as being any addictions, any feelings of hatred or anger, any feelings of scarcity or lack, any doubts, self-righteous judgment. Can you get rid of those dark areas? As you get rid of those dark areas in your life, you become enlightened. That's what enlightenment is. It's being light. It's expressing fully in this life, or as fully as you can, your original face. Good. Good luck. I look forward to hearing from you. You're going to email me, or I'd love to get that sort of thing. But practice this week. Practice your meditations. Practice loving yourself. If you ever see your original face, you will fall in love with yourself. When I meditate on you, I see your original face, and I just fall in love. What's there not to love? Oh my gosh. Oh my. How beautiful is life? How beautiful are we? What an amazing experience. consciousness is. Good luck. I'll see you next week. I love you. Namaste.